Okay, so like everyone listening probably has a smartphone, right? I
Yeah,
mean, we all use them for like everything these days.
pretty much.
But did you ever stop and think about those chips?
The ones inside the phone?
Yeah, those tiny little chips. They're not just in our phones though, right?
Definitely not. I mean, they're
S-
like everywhere.
Yeah, they're powering so much of that technology.
And it's crazy to think about, like, they're also powering some pretty serious stuff.
Oh yeah,
Military tech,
exactly.
even like
Sounds
in
right.
Russia.
Hmm.
So that's what we're going to like really dig into today.
Oh, okay.
How Russia is getting all these US made chips.
Right. Yeah, even with all those sanctions in place.
Yeah, you'd think that would like stop the flow completely.
It's definitely more complicated than that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
way more complicated. And it's not just about like secret deals or something.
No, not really. It's a lot about human ingenuity and these supply chains and
Yeah, how things can get like
unintended consequences, you know?
yeah. It's easy to think about like wars and conflict as just tanks and missiles.
Right, right.
But honestly, even basic technology can play a huge part.
Yeah, for sure. And we're talking like serious money here.
Oh, yeah.
Russia brought in over $1 billion worth of chips just last year.
Wow.
And that's including chips from like companies everyone knows,
Like,
Intel and AMD.
oh, wow. Yeah, big names.
Yeah, so you might be thinking like, okay, super advanced Russian tanks with AI and
Right.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's actually like simpler than that.
It really is. That's what's fascinating about this. Russia relies a lot on even pretty basic chips
Okay.
for their weapons systems, and they need to import them because they haven't really built up their own chip industry.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, Russia's like a huge country. They have a ton of resources, right?
True, but building a chip industry, it takes more than just resources.
What else is needed?
Well, it needs decades of like specialized knowledge,
Hmm.
massive investments,
Oh, yeah.
and the right equipment. And a lot of that equipment comes from the US and its allies.
Oh, so it's like,
It's a tough spot for them.
yeah, they kind of back themselves into a corner.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay, so where does a company like Texas Instruments fit into all this?
Texas Instruments.
Yeah, they make like calculators and stuff, right?
Well, yeah, they do, but
Not exactly weapons.
no, but the chips, they make those even seemingly basic chips.
Uh-huh.
They are super important for a lot of military hardware.
Really?
Yeah, so think drones, guided bombs, even missiles being used in Ukraine.
Wow. So even a company that's not like directly involved in making weapons
Yeah.
is getting caught up in this.
It's almost impossible not to be. It's unavoidable, really, and the way it happens is actually shockingly simple.
Yeah.
Russian distributors, they can basically take TI's online store
Yeah.
and put it right into their own platforms.
What?
Yeah, so ordering chips for military stuff is literally a couple clicks away.
No way. That's insane.
Yeah, it is. So these chips aren't being shipped directly to Russia. They often go through places like Hong Kong,
Okay.
which makes it harder to track.
So it's like a
Adds a layer of like,
hiding it.
yeah, exactly, obfuscation.
Right. Right.
We know about one distributor who handled over 4,000 orders.
That's a lot.
Yeah, $6 million worth, and a huge chunk of that.
Like how much?
About $4 million went straight to Russian military contractors.
Yes. Wow. So that's a pretty clear link, even if it's not going directly to Russia.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that it's not connected.
Are there any specific companies in this whole network that like we should know about?
There are definitely some key players. So on the distribution side, you have companies like Sure Technology
Okay.
and Chip Power Electronics.
Got it.
And then to move the chips, you have freight services like
Okay.
C Global, SCM Ltd,
Okay.
and even Aeroflot gets involved.
Aeroflot, the airline.
Yeah, the Russian airline.
Wow. So they're all part of this.
It's a really complex web, and it all feeds into this conflict.
So what's being done to stop this?
Well, the U.S. government knows about it. They've been urging companies like TI to tighten up their controls
Right.
and keep a closer eye on where their products end up.
But like, how do you even do that?
Yeah, that's the problem. It's a huge challenge. These supply chains are so complex.
Yeah.
It's nearly impossible to keep track of every single little part.
It's like trying to untangle a giant knot.
Exactly.
So what happens if they can't stop it? What are the consequences?
Well, the most immediate consequence is that the conflict could go on longer.
Oh, right.
These chips are helping Russia keep their military going.
Right.
And beyond that, there's a chance things could escalate.
Meaning?
If Russia feels like they can get these technologies, they might take more risks.
That's scary.
It is. It could lead to a much bigger and more dangerous conflict.
This is all pretty heavy stuff, but like, what does it mean for us regular people?
It shows us that the technology we use every day, even the stuff we don't think about much,
Yeah.
can have a really big impact on things happening around the world. We need to start thinking about where our technology comes from and where it goes
Right.
and what might happen because of it.
I never really thought about it like that before.
It's a responsibility we all share.
Yeah, that's a good point. This whole deep dive has been really eye-opening.
I'm glad.
It makes you wonder, like, if something as small as a chip can help fuel a war, what other everyday things might be connected to stuff like that happening all over the world?
That's a good question to think about.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'll be thinking about.
I hope everyone listening does too.
Me too.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.